What's up, everybody? This is Jimmy with Trading Decoded. It is May 22nd, 2024, and it's 4:03 in the afternoon. Market is closed. Today's title, Luck or Skill. And the reason I put that in there is because there are some people that won today because of luck. There are some people that lost today because of impatience. And there are some people who won today because of skill. Today's chart was not one that even skill or any particular strategy would have done very well for you unless you happen to be lucky enough to be stuck in, ultimately, puts at one point. I know there's a fair amount of people who got into puts after the big move happened at 2 o'clock, which was the FOMC minutes, and probably bought the bottom and then immediately got their faces torn off by the bounce back to the upside. And then they probably got back into calls and said, oh yeah, I'm going to catch it. I'm going to make up for the shitty trade I just lost on. And then it came back down. Guys, you got to be really honest with yourself. Now, for me today, I blue booked it. I didn't take a single trade today. In fact, we voted as a community to shut the room down at lunchtime today. So I wasn't even there for the 2 o'clock fireworks. But if you're out there telling yourself you knew it, you were probably fortunate enough, lucky enough to have been stuck holding puts in a completely sideways moving chart, and you got lucky when we got a quick move to the downside. Not sure how anybody can assume that a Fed report is going to go one way or another without it being sheer luck. Okay, the point that I'm trying to drive home here is, let me open the chart because you're here to talk about charts. We had a very, very tight pre-market both on Qs and on SPY. Very tight pre-market. Okay, very little movement, very low volume, very low volatility. This, up until this candle here, which seemingly was out of the blue and got people reinterested in the chart, only to then lose to more of the same after that candle. This right here has to be, if my memory serves me right, one of the slowest moving, most sideways trading, lowest paying option chart that I've seen this year, hands down. I can't remember a SPY chart that was moving this tight for this long, going straight sideways. We were watching and taking hypothetical trades. There's not a call put line scenario on this chart simply because I wasn't interested in playing aggressive today. And I'm glad I didn't, because I would have had to wait. We talked about buying calls at a breach of this blue line right here. Okay, hoping to get to the next line. I want to tell you that if we would have bought calls on the opening candle off of this pre-market mid support line, you could have got those for about $6 a piece. It wasn't until we got a 70-cent move or so. Sorry, not 70 cents, 60, 40. Yeah, almost 70. It's about a 60-cent move before those contracts were worth what normally takes a 20-cent move in SPY to give you. So it was moving half the speed as a normal volume, normal volatility day. First thing you guys need to recognize, because I was asked this today, Jimmy, how did you know today was going to be this way? Let me first start out by saying, I don't know what any day is going to be, okay? But I do know when I should be hesitant on playing aggressively right out of the gate. And when there is a tight range in pre-market that's very gappy, very small candles, that tells me all I need to know to at least exercise some patience at the open. Okay? Now, as soon as the market opened, we go to our options chains. We look and see that contracts were way cheaper than they have been or normally are. That's another sign. Give yourself a minute. Be patient. Mentally take a trade with your normal position size and your normal contracts. See if they're moving by the time the move you thought was going to happen happens. If the contract prices are not moving, it's not worth the risk. Guys, we were keeping mental tabs, entered here at the money SPX call for $6. By the time it pulled back on this red candle here, it was down $40 a contract already. And then you were underwater by the time it came back just 11 minutes after open to where you got in originally. Okay? Way underwater. This chart sucked. It did. I did my best and fortunately was very successful at keeping people out of the market today. I at least convinced them to either walk away or set alerts and come back when you hear the beep. We all agreed that by 12 o'clock, we were going to be done. Okay? And so that's what we did. And lo and behold, right before we broke at 12, we get this big candle. And then, of course, you get the people in the community who's like, oh, see, I knew this was going to happen. No, I knew this, I knew that. Probably jumped into puts because they have a put bias. And what I wrote in our Discord community, actually, I'll show you. Because it sounds like it sounds confusing, and I probably would jumble it up if I tried to repeat it again by memory. But at 12:18 this afternoon, I said, walk away for the day. This was somebody who just got done telling me the party just started with this candle right here. The party just started. We didn't even break out of our pre-market range yet with a candle close. No party started. The Qs still in the same range that they were in. Look at this on the Qs, guys. Didn't even get below its pre-market midline where it had been earlier today. But this candle ignites people's desire to feed their biases, right? So he says the party just started based on this candle right here, meaning don't walk away. Now it's going to get good. Guys, it didn't get good from 11:50 until 1:35. 137. The very first time we got outside of our pre-market range with a candle close was 137. So an hour and a half you had to wait for things to get good. But even then you're getting close to the report. Which way is the report going to push us? You don't know that. You guys have lost enough money on FOMC days. It's a shit show. It's a gamble. It always is. Okay? Now, the reason I say, was it luck or skill, is because the only skillful trade that you could have caught here, in my opinion, was if you were buying puts anytime we were up in this area up here. Because all the way up through the entire day, we were having a hard time getting through that to the upside. Okay? And we were coming down, albeit at a snail's pace, back down to this pre-market midline. So the question is theta, or a drop in volatility, outpacing this move at the speed that it was happening? You could have bought puts here. By the time you got here, you were probably barely green. Right? So, luck or skill? Luck if you were in puts here and it didn't bounce like it had every single time we've gotten down there. Skill, maybe, if you decided to wait for a close outside of the range and then hope that that would kickstart a move to the downside, right? Luck, if you happen to buy puts on support here and then got stuck in this and then you said, oh, I'm going to wait till 2 o'clock and see what happens. Listen, however you justified your trades today, if you made money, please just know, be honest with yourself, whether you did so getting lucky or skill. And the reason that that matters is because if you realize that you got stuck in puts, were upside down in them, and you got fortunate enough for a move to go in your favor because you held long enough, realize that that's luck. And the reason I want you to accept the fact that it was luck was because luck is easier to forget than is when we try and tell ourselves that was a skillful trade. Okay, because I know at this point, through this entire time, we had people try and trade. Some were green, many were red. Okay, many were red, not big red because the stock wasn't moving enough to make it a big red. But the problem is that while you're waiting, let me get back to what I said. I said, walk away for the day. Too many people think they are going to miss what they don't know is going to happen. Even if the unknown happens, we then convince ourselves that we will play it properly when in fact, we have a bias and hope that the unknown plays in the same direction as our bias. Right? So the guy who was telling me, oh, this is when the party starts and I knew this was going to happen. Did you hold your puts through all of this? Did you stop out? We were right back into the same range that we were in for the 2 hours leading up to it. Okay? Guys, biases are bad. I've fallen victim to them plenty of times. Every trader has. Okay, we got to learn to shake them. Even if you have them, at least wait for the market, wait for the chart to at least be going in the direction of your bias so that you can have that justification for playing it. Okay, market was very, very happy yesterday, very happy today, moving sideways and not falling out of the sky until the FOMC minutes. Right? We got through these levels of support and resistance. Again, I wasn't here to draw new lines after that, but you can see it bounced off our futures line, held these lines of support and resistance, and we get below them, get to and through the pink line, which is yesterday's low of day, only to start whipsawing all over the place. I know for a fact, more people lost money here at the end of the day than they did here in the beginning. Why do I say that? Because so many people with a bias or without either missed this run, got into the run, hung on to it for too long, were upside down by the time they got into those puts here. Okay. Hope for more. Zero chance that these even came close to being worth what they were here. Okay. And then ripped your face off. And then you became a hold and hoper and you lost your ass. Okay. I'm sure there were people holding calls from over here, expecting a bounce and a break to the upside that got toasted on this. This chart looks easy to trade once it starts moving. But the reason it's moving is what makes it so damn risky. I don't even know what the report said or the minute said. Might have said that there's no rate hikes happening this year, but the Fed already said that before the report. So is the market just delayed in its response for that? What's the reasoning? Okay, maybe I'll go back and look at the report and see what's going on. But at the end of the day, just be aware. For me, it was a no trade day. There is not a single arrow on this chart because we didn't find a single thing to trade while we kept the room open. If you happen to make money today, congratulations. I'm happy for you. If you lost your ass today, please use some of these signs of slow movement as a reason to at least be patient or set alerts and come back when you hear them beep. Okay? The other thing I want you guys to be aware of is the reason we vote on whether we should close the room or not is because I know for a fact, having done this for long enough with enough people, that the hardest part for people who can't stand or fathom the idea that there are some days just not worth trading cannot sit here and watch this happen without doing something. And that something shows itself in the way of a trade that shouldn't be taken. And then they lose money or keep it small losses, whatever, or hold and hope, right? I watch people lose chunks of their accounts during charts like this only to then respect the fact that it's not worth trading, having gone through their buying power, lost enough money, had too many red trades, whatever their reasoning is for stopping, and then they get a move after they've already done the damage. And then they say, oh man, I knew I should have waited. I knew I shouldn't have walked away. Guys, I spend as much time keeping people out of bad situations is I try and help them find decent ones. Okay. Today, there is not a single moment for the time I was on the microphone that I suggested a trade. Not one. Yet there were people doing it, and that's okay. It's your money. But tonight, I'm going to sleep like a baby, knowing that I kept a bunch of people out of this market and not giving their money away. Okay. You may look at this and be pissed off at me because you weren't there, or you had already said you're done trading, and you look at this move to the downside and you say to yourself, I would have made $1 million on that. I would have made thousands of dollars on that move. How do you know? How do you know? How do you know you wouldn't have bought calls or puts here and then stopped yourself out here? How do you know you wouldn't have bought calls here after this multiple level of support and bought it up in calls and then got your face torn off? How do you know? You don't know. You like the idea of thinking that everything you do is going to be the right thing after you see what happens. Guys, there's an exercise that I do every once in a while in our community where people look at a chart after it's printed, okay, and then tell me what they would have done. And then I take that same chart and I hide what happened and only show them up until this point and say, what would you guys do here? Do you know how many of those people say, oh, I would buy calls because we're on support? Or I'd wait because Qs were on support. Okay, and then you reveal the chart and say, see, it's not so easy in real time. You're fooling yourself into believing that you will play every big move the right way. Oh, I would have bought calls at the end of the day here. Why? Because the top 10 was glowing with green? Because ADD was skyrocketing through the roof? These are all hypotheticals and not true at all. ADD wasn't doing crap for the most part. Okay? ADD was very red today. Minus 1,300, minus 1,400 at the low. So you would have bought calls at that time? Oh, I guess NVIDIA's earnings came out. What is happening? NVIDIA. Down 1.5% so far. Oh, just holy smokes. Good lordy. She's getting crazy. She's getting feisty. You know how many people bought positions before close because they want to take advantage of what they knew was going to happen with NVIDIA earnings? Guys, just be real with yourselves. It'll help you in the long run, okay? Be real with yourselves. It'll help you in the long run. We're going to wrap this up because I got nothing more to say. I hope you all made some money today. I hope you didn't lose too much money. I hope you had a no trade day. I had a no trade day. I don't feel bad about missing this. I enjoyed the rest of my day. I started to work on my server closet some more. So with that said, I hope you guys found some useful information in this video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to join our Discord community, well, we'd love to have you. There's a link down below. First week's completely free. You don't have to leave if you don't become a paying member. You just will lose access to the paid rooms that you get during that free trial. All right. And that's pretty much it. We are also going to be opening up our annual discount rate at the end of June. Just giving you guys a heads up so you can prepare if you're interested. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you all had a great day. Till tomorrow, I love you guys. See ya!